Hi everyone, my name is Donkey and today we're back on the RTS project. So in the last video, or the very end of last video, I spent a bit of time trying to get this resource regeneration system working. And it wasn't working at the end of last episode, and I couldn't think why. For the life of me, it wasn't working. You can see now it obviously is working. These land are getting filled in. The reason was actually quite ridiculous. I did put it in the comment. At the bottom of that video. I think it was unit. But yeah, it was something really stupid. Trying to remember where we put it now. It's probably controller. Yeah, here. So originally this was set to be a lot larger. Now the problem was due to the probability and whatnot. So because we spawn in quite a few to start with, the probability that this lands on an actual tile and that this lands on an actual tile is quite slim. So when it was a really big amount of time, nothing was happening, or nothing was appearing to happen. In reality, it was going through and it was checking each one, but because it had such a low chance of it hitting an empty tile, nothing was really visually happening. One way we could kind of get around this is if we increase this to like 100. So the chances are now a lot lower of stuff initially spawning. We should see stuff spawn a lot quicker. There you go. And that rate will slow down because, yeah, odds and stuff. But no, we change this back to being 2. So the same normal amount of stuff should spawn in now to start with. And stuff starts filling in. So we'll probably want to slow that down a little bit. That was just for me to demonstrate that it wasn't the code that wasn't working. It was just, well, it was a little bit. It was more of a logic problem than a syntax problem, so we changed that to 20. Stuff won't happen very quick, but we know it is happening, just really slowly. You can see there as well, the out of bounds is kind of good, in fact. But yeah, we're going to leave that now for the moment. But what we're going to work on in this video is, I was thinking some sort of limits would be quite useful, because most resource gathering RTS games tend to have some sort of limits. So just like the population, there's normally a limit on the amount of gold and stone and wood you can have without having some sort of storage. So that's what we're going to do in this video. We're going to start off because we've got these two buildings. We've got this house building and we've also got this building, which I think we make with stone. So we're going to make that building, that blue building, increase our stone that we can have. So makes sense. We've got lots of stone. What we're going to do, make it into a stone storage, which will increase some sort of maximum stone that we can store. Now that in itself sounds quite easy because we can do that with the housing, but as soon as we start adding limits in, we're going to have to think of some sort of way of getting around the mining aspect. So is there enough? There's no point us hanging around and trying to mine something if it turns out we've not got the space to keep it. So we want to check that before we start mining. And yeah, we'll give that a go. So to start off with, I think we'll do this in our controller, probably in the create. I've got something here. House equals false. Maybe not here. Trying to think where we'd set it up. Object tile maybe? Nope. Trying to think where we set our maximum thing. Maybe overlay. Actually, yeah, here we go. So yeah, max population here. So under each of these, we're going to make a new thing. So max wood equals, we'll say 500. We'll say 500 for all of these. We'll change them though, because it'll make it quicker to test. I'm not even sure why we have gold at the moment, because we don't have any gold tiles. Maybe that's something I could set you guys as a kind of an aim. So can you make your own tile called gold and implement everything that we've done, so that it uses, let's say, 5 charges, and each charge is 5. So overall it'd be 25 in total. Let's see if you guys can do that, just as a little side task. But anyway, in this video, yeah, we need to get back and implement these max bits in. So the first and most easy way is back in the overlay is to make sure that it's added in here. So we can copy this there, there, and we'll just change the population bit to be wood, stone, and gold. So that is of course the easiest way of starting off. Now if we ran that, we'd see some sort of visual bit here, and that's lovely. Only problem is, of course, if we go over it, it doesn't matter. And also, if we make our new house, nothing happens as well. So we probably want to think about that a little bit. And so how are we going to do that? We going to make sure here. This is our mining, I think. Yeah, it's our mining. So we could do this. This is going to be a long way of doing it. I was thinking earlier though, there is a slightly easier way of doing it, which probably works a little bit better. This moment, and then as stuff develops, we might start to add some more stuff in. But yeah, let's give this a go to start with. I'm just trying to read through this and see what we need to do, what we need to change. So first of all, here we need to change. Actually, we don't need to change much because we've already got that button in place, and I went through how to make buttons, so I'm not going to do that again. But because we have this second button, which does make a building, we can just change the stats for that. So house 2 is currently, and that's the one we're going to be using. We could maybe change the name. We'll maybe do that later. I'm thinking we'll do one episode or 2 episodes of this. So one episode, the initial implementation. The next episode will be the limits, and then the last episode of cleaning stuff up. So yeah, this is our one that we're going to be editing. Overlay stone is going to stay as is. We're going to minus 100 still. If not house, this is the bit that we don't need to do this. Let's do here. Copy this, make it exactly the same, and paste. And here as well, I'm going to say object overlay. I'm not exactly sure because we are an object overlay, but anyway, max stone plus equals 500. So that's just exactly the same as here. Going to increase our maximum stone by 500. We've basically built our storage. And now here we want to say if we've mined it, if it's not a house, we want to decrease the stone. So this is going to be equal to tile building. Yeah. So it's effectively exactly the same code here. And this is the easiest section of the 3 parts that I've. It's not too complicated. There we go. We can see that working. Of course, the limits aren't actually in place now, and they don't really do much. But you can see it works, and it does increase the limits. I'll just quickly explain that. I haven't gone through it in much depth because it is something we've done before. I've not really changed that much, but I'll just make sure that you guys still remember what's going on here. So this is all identical. You can refer back to another episode for that. Here, what we're saying is right back here. This depends on which button we're pressing. So if we're pressing this button, then this is going to be true, and we're going to decrease the stone, increase the maximum stone, and then it would here we're checking if it's a house tile that we're on. If it is a house tile we're on, we're going to get rid of it. We're going to decrease the population, and same here. And then at the very end, we're then going to update it to be whatever tile we want it to be. Also, I don't know where we set tile. Do we set tile somewhere? Placed tile. There. Anywhere else? I'm not sure. Anyway. This works. Oh yeah, of course. We're only ever placing 2 tiles, and they're only ever being building or house. I was trying to figure out how we would do it for another tile, and then I realised we don't have any other tiles. So yeah, it only works for those two. So this is always going to be one or the other. And what we're checking is if we're not overwriting another one. If we are overwriting another house, then we want to decrease the population because we can't stack them. So basically, if I put a house here and then I put the stone thing on, it swaps. There. Not -5. That needs to be here, -500. And that should work quite nicely. Build a house at 10 population. Not build another house. Build that. Stone increases, population decreases. Stone decreases, population increases. There we go. That seems to be working to me. So that's the initial implementation. In the next video, we'll actually make these limits become in effect. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. If you like this video, remember to like, subscribe, or if you guys want to do, and I'll talk to you in the next one.